What is up, friends? Hope everyone's doing well out there wherever you may be. Welcome to another edition of the Useless Information Podcast. I, of course, am Dick. With me, as always, is my co-host, Danny B. What's up, dude?
What's up, y'all? What's up, bud? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Just had a nice little lunch date with my fiance at Sam's Club. Cool thing about Sam's Club is you can get a fucking hot dog and a drink still for like $1.50. So it's like
that was always weird being in the Antelope Valley and seeing the teams battle between Costco and Sam's Club.
yeah,
it was really weird, and I never understood either one of them. And even when Costco was manageable financially wise, it was still so overwhelming to go to Costco.
Oh, dude, yeah, especially over there in California, dude. It's fucking nuts.
And I remember my buddy Harmony, who lives in Utah as well.
Yeah,
she worked there for so many years, and I'm like,
she did.
How the hell did you do it, dude?
That's
a whole different type of savage.
Yeah. Harmony's in Park City. Yeah, I still haven't seen her since I've been in Utah, but definitely gotta say hi to her.
She came out and visited us at our campsite when we passed through.
Oh, nice.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool.
She's OG, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Harmony.
Yeah. Oh, shit. You think we've been doing this a little bit long?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get into it, bro. We wanted to talk about Gene Hackman.
So yeah, Gene Hackman just recently passed away, and I don't know if anybody's seen the highlights or the clips on your feed at one point, but Gene Hackman, if you don't know, his best roles, which I've never seen this movie. He won his first Oscar from The French Connection.
Yeah,
and that's a good movie. I've never seen this.
There's a part two. There's a part two as well. It's really good.
But he was also in 3 of the 4 first Superman movies.
Lex Luthor. Yep, Lex
Luthor. Yep. So if that doesn't trigger your guys' brain at all, I highly recommend go and check it out. At least the first 2 Superman movies with him in it. It's awesome. Like the last one was kind of funky and stuff. And The French Connection, I'll probably have to end up checking that out because I didn't even know nothing about it. So he's only won like 2 Oscars his entire life, and that was the first one he's ever won. So that was kind of cool. And kind of crazy that I had no idea what the hell this movie was about.
It's really good, bro. I've seen it a few times. I remember watching it back in the day.
Dude, besides like watching him, I didn't really know about him in the first 2 Supermans where I was first introduced. But when I actually grew a liking was when I saw him in The Birdcage. That movie is just... If you haven't watched The Birdcage with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, it is so funny. And if you're open-minded to like the gay community in Florida, it's even better. It's so good. And he plays like a uptight conservative politician father who is being introduced to this gay couple in Florida who's trying to act conservative, and it's so fucking funny.
It is. Yeah, Nathan Lane plays a really good gay guy, and Robin Williams, anything he's in
too.
Yeah, but have you seen him on like Modern Family? Where he comes in on Modern Family and he's always the gay guy. And he just, in real life he doesn't act that flamboyant. So I'm just saying, as a gay guy, he plays a really good gay guy. So he's just really, he's hilarious.
Such a good. That was in '96 too, so it was a really good movie. So I saw him in that, and I just fell in love with the whole entire cast.
Yeah.
But recently, a maintenance worker went to their new to him and his wife Betsy Arakawa. I don't want to.
That sounds about right.
But Arakawa, she's a classical pianist. Just letting everybody know as
she's
well.
She's a pianist.
Nice. I couldn't find any of her work. That was the crazy thing. Couldn't find any of her work.
Yeah.
But a maintenance worker ended up showing up to their house and saw the door not forcibly open. Ended up peering inside and seeing Mr. Hackman and his wife, deceased. Him in a mudroom and her in a bathroom with a bunch of prescription pills. So the crazy thing about this whole entire thing is that, like, I couldn't find anything about his death, only that his pacemaker stopped, recorded its last event on February 17th. And then they found his body, just a week ago? So that was like 2 weeks? a
Yeah, I
possible
think it was
decomp.
like 11 days or 12 days or something like that.
And
Yeah.
with the short month of February, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And the odd thing about it is they can't figure anything out. They said they tried to look into like carbon monoxide poisoning. Nope. I mean, and I've heard theories about like, oh, she overdosed on some pills and then he was trying to save her and then he had a heart attack and died but then the dog died. But the dog, I guess it was a German Shepherd, was in like a carrier. So the dog could have passed away by like just not eating for 2 weeks, right? Like that could have happened. Like nobody really knows. Like
Yeah.
they haven't found any evidence of foul play. There's nothing, they can't figure out what's going on. That's the weird part. It's like, okay, I mean,
What was,
was
the
there,
dog? Was the dog had any relevance to this story?
not really. Like, it's just funny because like they both died, but nobody can figure out why. But then the dog died too. But like I said, like the dog was in a carrier by itself for like 2 weeks. Like the dog doesn't eat or drink. It's most likely going to pass away. There were like two other dogs that were roaming free, and they're fine. So they probably found something to eat, you know. So they're good when they got there. But this one dog that was in the carrier was dead. So it's just kind of a weird thing. Like, could it be coincidence? Could it be foul play? Nobody really knows.
Yeah. So anybody out there that actually sees a clip of this that is one of these, this is just my opinion.
I like that shirt.
This is solely my opinion. Okay, I'll buy you one, dude. Trust me, I'll get you one. This is just my opinion, and Gene Hackman was 95 when he passed away.
Yeah.
So let's just not think that he was some young chap and this is like, oh shit, this is a crazy conspiracy. It could be in the long run, but this is just my opinion. You know, she was like 30 years younger than he was.
Mm-hmm.
His pacemaker stopped. So what if she did try to do something or whatever with like maybe poisoned food or whatnot, and then, you know, and then she probably, I don't know. It just seems very odd that she would try to take his life and then take her life right afterwards.
Yeah.
It seems just super odd. And for me to even think that there is foul play, it has to come down to like maybe like a money, you know, a paper trail or some shit. But why would you take your own life? Why would you even do that? It doesn't make any sense. And they had a beautiful, lavish home in New Mexico. I mean, this looked like a damn compound, like an Avengers compound. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and you know, they were living their best life. So it just seems like a very unfortunate situation that, you know, he probably just lived a very private life and nobody checked in on him. And unfortunately, him and his wife she probably had a heart attack and fucking, you know, probably was going for like heart medication and shit. I don't know what type of pills they were.
It's weird. Like some of the pills I think were for like stomach pain or no, chest pain. One was for like chest pain. Yeah. And yeah. So, and I can't remember what the other ones were. Like I looked into it, but I didn't write it down because I didn't take very good notes, but like they were just like odd pills that weren't going to kill you if you take too many. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's like, how did this actually happen? Like,
well, he was in a mud room. So like, what do you do in a mud room? Like you take your shoes off while, you know, coming out from outside, right?
Yeah.
So
maybe he fell.
New Mexico, I mean, he could have been like, you know, overheating, just could have been overworking himself. And then even the pacemaker just stopped right there. He collapsed. And then she probably looked over and she was like, holy shit. And maybe she had an attack of something of some sort. And I mean, who knows?
That's odd though. Like for them to both. Oh, you're having a heart attack. Oh, me too. It's like, it's kind of weird.
But isn't it crazy that when it's in some cases you see a significant other pass away within like months to a year after their soulmate passes away?
Yeah.
So, I mean, she was a fucking classical pianist, dude. What the fuck was she gonna do at 65 years old?
Yeah. I mean, maybe she saw that he passed away, couldn't do anything about it, and went and took a bunch of pills, and then, you know, like nobody knows. That's the hard part. Is like nobody really knows. I mean, I looked into also because of something I saw, and I wanted to read it in a minute, but something Randy Quaid said, Uncle Eddie. So I wanted to look into it because he was trying to tie it to like a conspiracy theory, to like the same as like, you know, Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, those kind of things. Like, so I tried to look into it. Was he like talking about like child trafficking and I couldn't find anything that he was talking about. Like he wasn't that guy. He was just living a quiet life, like he said. So I'm like, why would he say that? But Randy Quaid's fucking nuts. So he posted something on X, and this is fucking interesting. He said, Gene Hackman and his wife are murder victims. Some scumbags did it and staged it. Stop talking about the films he's in. This is how they get away with murdering famous people. Fake news starts generating film clips. How is it possible I know at least 6 people who have died, like Carradine, Hackman, and Ledger? So David Carradine was in like Kung Fu, I guess. And then, of course, Hackman and Heath Ledger. So that's what Randy Quaid said.
Didn't David Carradine kill himself from from like a sex act with a Thai chick?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You're not. No, that guy. I heard that guy was a fucking mad freak. So
But that's what I'm saying though. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like that's what Randy Quaid said. But if you know anything about Randy Quaid in the last 10 years, he posts stupid shit like this. But then I've also heard people say that the stuff he says actually has come true. And he's like one of those weird quacks that just knows shit. Like he was fucked up by the music industry. I mean, the movie industry. And it was like, now he's just a weirdo and everybody's trying to play him off as a weirdo. But I tried to look into anything Gene Hackman was doing and he was solid. Like he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't trying to like expose anybody, anything like that. I mean, I don't know.
He's been in movies since the 30s. There's possibilities
There's
everywhere.
A possibility. Making a fucking frogs gay.
It's like, that sucks, man, because, you know, it's like The Simpsons. The Simpsons predicted it. I mean, we can probably say if we really chose somebody that's growing up in age and just tossed out some fucking crazy scenario, dude, there's always a possibility, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that, you know, The Simpsons has hundreds of writers to think about and comprise this fucking theories that come true, you know, 10, 15 years later. It's just like, you know, it's a coincidence, but you know what? It's possible, you know. Nostradamus did it, and, you know, we're not losing our minds over the end of the world and shit like that. So it's like, will it happen? I mean, shit, we're seeing AI robots we are seeing the fucking first movie of the Terminator fucking being
it's starting
made in front of our eyes.
It's starting.
And we were just like, this is fucking cool. Like, you guys are dumb. Like, we're so dumb. We're so dumb, people. Like, we are just seeing all of our childhood horror movies come to light, and we're like, this is epic. We go to horror shows to get fucking scared of the movies that scared the shit out of us because it entertains us. We are so dumb. Like, we're so dumb, people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, we're in a really scary, scary time. And fucking robots, dude. Fucking robots.
Yeah. The Matrix and the Terminator, they're all coming. They're all coming true. Everything's coming true. It's just give it another 5-10 years, and it'll all be true. The robots will take over, and
just give me the limitless pill so I can have like endless knowledge.
That's
Please,
the one
that
I
would
want.
Be so awesome. That's what I would want too. I would rather have just knowledge, so I'm not going around and being like a complete ass all the time. Yeah. So we can go to battle with these assholes online.
Yeah, I know.
The next subject.
Yeah. Dude, that shit's been crazy. Like you were talking about how like your phone won't stop. Your notifications won't stop.
Yeah.
People are losing their fucking minds.
So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Dick has been really good with fucking posting up a lot of our clips from this podcast, and he had posted up a clip of us talking about tariffs, and it seemed like we had dropped the N-bomb on the internet because the likes to comment ratio was so night and day, dude. It was crazy. I was like, at some point where I was like, oh my gosh, this is catching wind on like the views and stuff. But the comments were just going out of hand with all of the, like I've said before, like the Yale and Harvard fucking graduates that just know everything about the tariffs that are just being, that they're saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe these tariffs are happening. Like it's never fucking happened before. Ever in presidential history. Like Trump is just doing this right now and being, so aggressive on other countries, and people lost their mind on us. And at first it was fun. Like the first day it was fun to kind of like troll people and stuff. But then it just got to a point where like I couldn't say something negative towards the people that were saying so much outlandish shit about us. And I thought to the point I was like, we can't even defend ourselves properly.
I just started saying stuff like pee pee poo poo because I was I don't have anything to say anymore. I'm done. And I was just like getting addicted to commenting.
Yeah, it was just nonstop. And I understand why celebrities have like ghost phones and shit like that. I totally understand that. My watch was going off. Thank God my watch works now. This is great. I have a new watch and it works fine.
Nice.
But it gives me all these updates.
Yeah.
And at one point I'm like, I had sent Richard a message just like, my phone's tired, boss.
That shit was hilarious, dude. It's funny because I just watched that movie and I said it in his voice. I was like, I'm tired, boss.
And The Green Mile.
The Green Mile,
movie.
That's great. Mile.
Really good movie. And it's like, I'm tired, boss.
I'm tired, boss.
My phone was just getting beat up. And,
I turned that shit off, bro. Like I look at it, it shows up on my phone, but it doesn't come through like as a notification. Like I don't feel it. Like I'm like, I look at my phone when I'm at work. And the funny thing is when I'm at work is like I work in the dairy department. I go into the cooler, I have zero signal when I'm inside. And then when I come out, I get signal. And so I would look at my phone and just 30 notifications would pop up. I'd be like, fuck. And then I go out, I'd be at work just like replying to these fuckers, just like feel like
I would look down because I have my phone in my pocket and I would just see my watch and I would see what you're saying. I'm like, damn, dude, this guy does not give a fuck right now.
Yeah, I just gave up, bro. So the thing is, like, okay, look, like, what I hate is that people are fucking mean. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about is like, people don't know us. People are like, these fucking idiots and stuff like, you don't know us, dude. Like, and also it was kind of taken out of context on purpose just to kind of troll. And I did it because I thought it would be funny, which I probably won't do something like that again because people really kind of made me feel like I was stupid, even though I was trying to like, even in the actual podcast, I was saying like, this shit might not work. I don't know. I wasn't saying this is all in. This is what's going to happen. Like I said it on the actual episode, like, hey, I don't know if it'll work. It might, but the way I edited the actual reel was that I know everything about tariffs and they're going to build factories all over Texas. And what I was referencing was Apple, because we had talked about that Apple was building a factory. And now there's other companies that are actually moving their shit to the US because of the tariffs. So like we are kind of right. But the way people are like super mean, I just got sick of like trying to defend it with the same shit. So I was just like basically trolling people for the last couple of days of it. And then I finally just turned them off. I was like, I don't even care anymore. It was just one of those things where I was like, damn, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. But it's just people are fucking mean when they are sitting on a keyboard. And then you touched on it in your episode, your podcast, talk about keyboard warriors. Like everybody's got balls when they're fucking sitting behind a keyboard on the internet. And they wouldn't say that shit to my face, And we grew up in a time where you say it to someone's face and then you fight them.
Yeah,
that's how it works. Like now it's the internet. It's like people just can say whatever the fuck they want and call someone stupid. And I hate that shit. And that's why, like, I think I'll post things about, what we say, interesting things. But like, if I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, which honestly, I know a little bit about tariffs. I don't know a lot about them. I've learned more since this shit, cause I was like, man, I got to learn more about this shit. Cause now I feel like I sound dumb. But at the same time, you got to have thick skin, and I don't really fucking care. Like, I know that I'm just a dummy from fucking the desert. Like I always say, like, I'm just a dummy from the desert. Who gives a shit, right? Like, I don't know everything. But
yeah, but
the
one thing, dude, the one thing is I commented, like, the one thing I did comment and put up there and was open for Pandora's box. It's like, okay, so everybody that is trolling us and is going at us, you guys are for, this slave labor that's going on in China, so we can have cheap products.
Yeah.
And
yes,
nobody fucking came at it.
Mm.
So it's like, you know what? Most of these people had private accounts, so I don't know if these were bots. But the thing about it is, like you were saying, they got really nasty, and it was to the point where it's like no one was even making valid points because we just spoke upon it as like something that it just dropped on us really with the whole Apple. I think that's what, enticed the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no one knows how these tariffs are going to, pan out. Like right now, I mean, I just saw something from Canada. They're not going to buy any alcohol from the US. Like they're taking all the labels off the US bottles that they have there. Big fucking deal. Who gives a shit about them anyways?
Yeah.
Like, but we're going to see that. We're going to see all the backlash from all these tariffs. And like we've said before, it's a negotiation process.
100%.
It's a business. And if people are going to come at us and say, well, that's not exactly how it is, it's not going to be exactly how it is, but it's a negotiation factor in numbers, or in some factor where one party benefits and the other party benefits as well. One's going to overlap the other for sure. You think we're going to go into a deal with Trump and fucking Canada? You think Trump's going to bow down to Canada? Like, all right, we'll give you 55% to our 45. It's never going to fucking happen ever again.
No.
So that's why we slap these tariffs on people, so we can negotiate the pricing, so we can all seem fair.
Yeah. Trump wants to negotiate trade these bad trade deals. And so there's a few reasons why he's doing this with the tariffs. He wants to negotiate some deals. Another reason is stopping the immigration that's happening, right? He wants to like slow down immigration. This will help out with that. And it worked in Mexico, where Mexico sent like 10,000 troops to the border to kind of slow it. Now they actually arrested like, I think it was like 29 or 30 big members of the cartels, right? So Mexico's taking care of business because this is what Trump's trying to negotiate with the tariffs. And then also like what you were just saying, with basically like these deals with like fentanyl coming across the border, those kind of things, right? Like he's trying to stop that. And then the other reason is like what we were trying to talk about a little bit, and it's more long term. It's like trying to make it to where people will buy American products and it'll help the economy. And then it makes these other companies, which is actually fucking happening. These
Honda
companies I saw what you showed me with Honda, and Samsung and LG are moving they haven't decided yet, but they're actually contemplating it, moving from Mexico to the United States, right? And I guess it's just their appliance manufacturing. They have plants in the US and they're going to move more business to there, which will create more American jobs. So that's more long-term. And that's what people were talking shit about. It's not going to work. They're just going to charge more money. Well, all these companies really don't want that. It does, like I said, it does hurt them when they do it. And they know this. They're not stupid. So now all these companies are moving shit to the US. Like we said, we're not fucking stupid. We know, we're not fucking economists. We don't know, but we fucking know common sense. It's fucking working. Everything we're saying is actually working. So it's actually listening. So that's the other reason, is what we were talking about. But he wants to be able to negotiate with these people. But I found out like Canada has like some tariffs of like 200% on some goods, like eggs and milk. So it's like they have tariffs on us already that are huge, but there's reasons for that too, right?
Yep.
So there's reasons for all these tariffs. Canada has reasons to have these tariffs on us, but there's all these reasons. But Trump has people behind him that are, negotiating these deals. He has reasons why he's doing it, and that's what I was trying to say. But like I said, I edited the reel a certain way, and I don't know if I regret it, but
you should.
I don't, dude. But because it was not what I actually meant to say, and it sounded like I was saying something, but it wasn't exactly what I meant to say. So I just got sick of being called stupid, when I knew in my head, and you can't explain it to people over and over and over again and say, no, I know what I'm talking about. I really do know what I'm talking about. Some people were saying like, you don't even know how tariffs work. They actually, the tariff is on the company that's importing, not exporting. I was like, I fucking know that. I said that, but I said they. So they were like, well, no, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, fuck you. You know, I do know what I'm talking about. And I just didn't portray it in that reel. But if you listen to the episode, I did.
And that's the reason why I don't think you should ever be concerned and worry about what you're going to post, because this initiates engagement. If they want to go and check out the podcast, fucking great. Like, like I've said before, it's easier to comment on a 1 minute clip than it is to listen to a 2 hour long, podcast.
Yeah,
you get the
exactly.
full context. So we're not going to post a 2 hour long podcast on our fucking IG. So you guys can decide for yourself. You guys will never watch it. So,
right.
So it was just super silly. And it makes you realize how, man, dude, like I've said, how much things have changed, dude. Things have changed, and it's like you get that with the internet, you get that with people behind the fucking wheel, just the confidence, confidence. Yeah. And I did want to say something about like road raging and shit. I've been like brake checking a lot of people that drive like shit just to kind of show like I'm upset.
Yeah.
And one day I got out of my house and there was a fucking cop out front of my house. And I had a feeling that maybe somebody got my license plate and like has a friend in the business. And because my lady called me up, she's like, "Hey, as soon as you took off from the house, this cop just whipped around and fucking started following you, like around like on the other side of the block."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, I wasn't speeding or I wasn't doing anything, but if this was trying to scare me, like that bitch was way more scared than what this cop did to me." But it's like it's the confidence, And I broke all that down and I was like, okay, so that was my confidence. And what if this cop pulled me over and then fucking like kind of harassed me? It would have. He could have got out of it. I wasn't going to fight a cop in court if it ever escalated to that. And that was all because of me being cocky behind the wheel and shit. So I've done it. I'm not proud to say I've done it, but I have. But when it comes down to the internet, I try not to. And that's why I got off of like Facebook and stuff, because I got to the point where I had to fucking bite my tongue a lot from these fake ass individuals. And the fact that they can put poems that they fucking spew out of their mouths and put it on the internet, I'm good. I was like, I'm done. Delete. I have not regretted it at all. And I don't even want to make a, like for my podcast at Facebook, I don't want nothing to do with it. I think honestly, Instagram is perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get into TikTok. TikTok's kind of fun, but I feel like you have to be like part of the youth to understand how much you can utilize the tools of TikTok. To make it beneficial for yourself. But Instagram is just so great where you get pictures and then a little bit of a definition behind it. It's perfect. That's all you need. I don't need a book. I don't need you to tell me a whole book. Just show me a picture and say, I love my family. That's it. I'm good. I'm so good with that. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's originally what Instagram was just a photo sharing app. And then it just like kind of blew up. But yeah, I don't really use Facebook much. A lot of the stuff I post comes from Instagram and goes straight into Facebook. That's basically it. I don't think I've posted anything just on Facebook in years. And
sorry.
Like what?
My cat's fucking
no. Oh, your cat.
Hey, yeah, come here. Hey. Fucking asshole. He's like tearing down my closet. I just hear all this shit just dropping. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm hearing shit in the background. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's him.
I didn't know your cat was there. I'm like, yeah.
He was supposed to do this, but yeah, dude, I don't like it. It's just, but I think that's how this whole generation is now. I think everybody is really that nasty towards one another.
Yeah.
And very, very, like I said, very confident over the internet, where you can send someone people send celebrities DM talking shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? What type of balls do you have? Like, if I don't, it's one thing of talking shit about somebody that you guys are engaging on a post together, but just to go out and say, hey, Beyonce, fuck you, your song sucks, Billie Eilish should have won this. That takes some balls.
Who would say that?
I love this shit, dude.
Damn, who would say that shit?
But man, it's just what the internet has given us, made it so easily accessible. It's not like making kites when you were a kid and passing notes around to find out who was talking shit about one another,
Yeah.
Because like I said, back in the day, you talk shit about somebody, word got around way fast.
Oh yeah, you're fighting.
Oh yeah,
you're throwing hands.
Find out quick.
Yeah, they find out quick. You're throwing hands. It happened a few times with me. I had to throw hands because someone was talking shit. I wasn't really a shit talker sometimes, but someone would talk shit about me, and you have to man up. You can't you can't back down, or you're called a pussy. Can't do that. And that's kind of how we grew up. Is like you have to man up. So sometimes you had to.
You have to back your words up.
Yeah, I lost a few, won a few. It is what it is. I got beat up a few times, got punched in the face a few times, but it's Lake LA, bro.
Dude, one of the craziest almost fight encounters I've ever experienced was at Little Rock, and it was with our buddy KD. I won't say his whole name.
Okay.
And he was dating some chick who was formerly dating this gangbanger or some shit like that. And they were like, we're going to fucking jump this guy. We're going to fuck this dude. We're going to, a whole crew's going to come and fuck him up. And that happened that word got around like at 7:30, 8 o'clock, right when we got to school.
Mhm.
And by the time we walked out of those doors, like KD had like fucking 50 to 100 people of all different types of cultures and shit ready to fucking fuck these dudes up. And they were like, there was supposed to have been like 15 of those dudes. And it was like, oh, I was in the background. Like, first off, I'm not fighting for this fucking asshole for him getting his dick wet. Fuck that, dude. That's just not worth it for me. I don't think so. Bro code and all, dude. I'm not, no, thank you. But when I saw the numbers, like, I didn't have to. I was just there to be like, go, bro. I got you.
From the back.
Yeah, fucking yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he said that shit. But it did escalate. But when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. But that was the power of word of mouth. And people were like, this guy is a cool enough dude. And this other guy seems to be such a piece of shit that he rallied up a whole fucking, an army to fuck these dude up, dude. And this was like in 11th grade. So this just blew me away, dude, how crazy. That's how the world we lived in, people. That's the world that we lived in. So, you be confident around your keyboards and shit. And by the way, the fact that we had so many people going at us like we are professional journalists and that we are like a known podcast to like the world and went at us that hard, and the fact that probably none of these guys go hard on the media that's been fucking lying to us for the last 4 years is remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's sad, dude. I don't know. That's the world we live in now.
Me. It's just silly. It's more silly than anything. And it didn't bother me. I'm glad you took the comments off because I just couldn't stand the fucking pings enough.
Yeah, I know. I was just getting sick of seeing the notifications and it was always the same. It was the same shit over and over again. The same. And I was like, that's why I started commenting like pee pee poo poo, because I was like, I don't fucking care. Yeah. I just don't care. I'm like, so then I stopped commenting. I was like, why do I even have the notifications on? So I just turned it off. It's still getting views. It's just nobody's commenting now. So
yeah, I mean, fuck it. We got what we got out of it, and we learned a lesson.
Yeah, we did. For sure.
But about social media, the audacity of some people, dude. Speaking of the next fucking balls of this person, dude.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it, or do you want me to say it?
Casey fucking Anthony shows up on TikTok out of nowhere. The most hated woman in America. Remember they called her that?
Yeah, the most hated woman in America.
Yeah.
And she is a legal advocate for all you people that are going through some legal bullshit. Do you guys understand? This woman is going to give you legal advice. And honestly, for what she got away with,
she got away with it. She got away with literal murder.
She got away with fucking murder. And if people are going to come at us and say, well, she fucking got acquitted, so you guys are wrong. Go fuck yourselves, people. I hope you hear this, dude, because there's no way that you abandon your child and fucking you ghost your parents for a month, and then you're like, I have no idea where my child is. I've been looking for her too.
31 days. And you don't know
31 days.
What? She was with the babysitter while this bitch is out fucking partying, stripping naked in front of a bunch of dudes. Like, she's just out having fun, not worrying about her kid.
About nothing. It just right then and there. Just even the 30 days alone you already get the red flag. You already get a red flag. And that's not even going down the list of all the other bullshit that she was fucking, accused of, or the whole role of what she potentially did with her child and stuff. Yeah. And her crazy ass fucking dad. And she came out on TikTok. I was like, I hate fucking TikTok already. The fact that I'm already getting blown up on this, all these notifications and stuff. Yeah. Or just people posting her stuff. I'm like, why? Why are we humoring this? We know exactly in full detail by multiple podcasts, multiple documentaries, multiple shows that we've all watched about this bitch, and saw the trial go over and over again, and being shocked that she got acquitted for all of it. We know everything. Why do we give a shit about what she has to say now?
Yeah. Do you think she's just coming on for like money? Like, because I mean, you make a lot of. Sure. She already has. Last I looked at it, I found it. I was like, I want to see how many views this bitch has so we can talk about it. And it was already like 1.7 million. And it was like in 2 days. And that's money right there. She just made some money. So if she just keeps posting, everybody's going to be on there just fucking viewing that shit, sharing
Well, she
it.
just did. I think she just did another documentary. I think she's done 2 documentaries with Peacock. I think she's just coming
Okay.
out with another one about this whole legal, advocacy and shit like that. And she's already making money off of. I mean, people are gonna eat it up. They're gonna watch
Oh
this
yeah.
bitch. They're gonna. It's all context. It's all content. I'm sorry, content for people out there to talk about the craziness that we are being subject to. So, I don't know if I'm gonna watch any of it, to be quite honest with you, because like what? Why do I care? Like, why do I care what she has to say? Like, dude, the fact that even say that her dad did do it. She had a percentage of what happened. So right then and there, you're a piece of shit in my eyes. like
Yeah.
for real, you're a piece of shit. So the fact that anybody would even call to get serious legal advice from this woman is fucked up in the head and should be like seeking out like counseling.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the only reason is because you're gonna say, "Oh well, she got she got off, so maybe she can get me off," you know?
Would you get married? Would you get marriage counseling from fucking O.J. Simpson?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, come on, dude. Let's just like it's so
Yeah.
silly. It's funny and dumb and just the crazy world we live in. That a convicted murderer of her own child can draw success in this crazy world still.
Yeah. We make stupid people famous all the time.
And Pete Rose can't even get into the fucking Hall of Fame for fucking betting on the game.
Yeah.
That's what a silly world. What a silly world. People look at Pete Rose, one of the best. I hate baseball. One of the best baseball players of all time can't get into the Baseball Hall of Fame because he bet on the game. I would have bet on the fucking game if I was Barry Bonds. I'm like, I'm definitely gonna bet on myself to win this home run derby. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, so look how Jack. Yeah, like. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, he doesn't even know. Like the guy in the blue doesn't even know how to do steroids. Like, because I've never done steroids, so I'm so sorry.
I heard I heard you injected in your ass.
It's,
So
it's in your butt. Yeah, it's in your butt. So sorry.
Yeah. I was doing this too, though. I was like, oh,
yeah,
wait.
That's first we did that first. So sorry, people.
Sorry. Oh my God. I'm going to post that now so we can get all this guy doesn't even know.
Yeah. I
He doesn't know how to inject steroids. He doesn't know how to inject steroids.
All I know is that I know a buddy that did that, dude, and the aggression that it was generating, and like you saw a difference for sure. And
yeah, I bet.
I was like, dude, you already have a short fuse. Maybe you should just not be. Maybe you shouldn't work out.
You don't need muscles that bad.
Get away. Maybe you should go to Africa and just like get peace somewhere, dude. Because he was so like he was a firecracker, and he was like, dude, let's like wrestle. And he grabbed me, and I felt like a fucking child. You know, this guy was like 10 years younger than me, and he picked me up like a child. And I was like,
yeah,
just looking up and I'm like, Daddy, and he's like, yeah, pretty much. So they're no joke, man. But he told me, he's like, you want me to get you on a cycle? For a split second, I'm like, man, I would like to see myself with some muscles, but I couldn't see I couldn't imagine the side effects it would do to my brain. I'm already like a train wreck as it is, so I don't need any more anxiety put on top of that, or just more aggression towards it. Just a fucking pissed off on the road the entire time, like really trying to like hit people and shit. And
sounds like you already have road rage, so steroids wouldn't help.
It's like, this was a bad idea.
This is a fucking bad idea.
Yeah.
Look at these fucking guns.
Yeah, no shit, but at least I look great in the mirror.
Look great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heard it makes your dick shrink too, though.
Yeah, that's definitely, it does that too.
Yeah, I can't afford any of that. So,
but looking great in the mirror is one thing, but looking great on YouTube is another.
Yeah.
And you, SOB of a person, said, hey man, you should look up, do you know who this person is? And I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. You should look up Ruby Frankie. And I'm like, okay, I mean, why not? You know, I don't, doesn't even ring a bell. I don't watch the news. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And within 24 hours, I've listened to an 8-hour podcast. I've watched an A&E hour-long video about it twice because I'm more a visual person. And to say that um, I was shocked,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's why I
And then
said it. Yeah.
I was like, dude. But then at one point, and we'll get into it. At one point, I was like, I didn't have enough time to do more research because I wanted to be devil's advocate on a couple things as well. So we'll get into that if you want to kick us off, because this was a hell of a fucking story
Yeah.
to look into, man.
Yeah. So when it was actually happening, my fiance was telling me about it, and I didn't really know what she was telling me, and kind of looked into it a little bit, and she was way into it. She's telling me like all this stuff about it, and then Netflix just came out with a documentary about it, and I watched the documentary. We watched it together, and holy shit! So Ruby Franke was she was basically like a YouTube how do you want to call it, like a influencer or something like that. But she had a vlog on YouTube about her family. It was called 8 Passengers. So she had 6 kids, and she was a Mormon wife, right? They were a Mormon family. They're actually in Springville, Utah, which is where I work. The store I work at is in Springville. So just 10 minutes down the road from here. And so basically she was doing this vlog and everything like that. And then it was nothing. It was just whatever. And then she had like a viral video. And then next thing you know, she had like millions of followers. And it just went crazy on YouTube. And she started getting, I believe she was already nuts, like with her family, but she started getting crazy with her family. And she wanted them, like, you see the behind the scenes footage on the documentary, where she was just like yelling at them and screaming at, "Shut up, I'm recording," like crazy, but then on camera smiling and being all fake, right? Which is one thing I always say. I had an episode about it. Everything is fake that you see on the internet. Everything's fake. Everybody's fake. The internet is all fake. And so the money started pouring in, and then she started getting like crazy with it, right? And I'm talking, she's making like $20,000 a month off this shit. I'm like, I'm going to start a fucking vlog. Like, I don't even care.
All your kids together, dude.
Dude, I know. I don't even care. It doesn't even have to be like that. I'll just start a vlog about me fucking walking. I don't know. Fucking just my daily life, dude. It's boring as shit. But hey, if I can make $500 a month on it, I don't care. But I was just like, that $20,000 a month just to fucking film. She was going nuts with it. Like, she started, I don't know if it was the greed or whatever. But then after all this is happening, people start finding some crazy shit out about her, and then it started backfiring on her, right? And she starts losing it. So she starts going crazy. Then she meets this lady, Jody. You okay?
He's screaming. He's like, he wants to get out. Sorry.
But she meets this lady, Jody Hildebrand. Right. You want to take it from there? I want to know what you were talking about, Jody.
No, man, you went too fucking quick.
Oh, like, sorry.
You got me all like,
I was just touching the basis of it, and then we can. Well, so I was touching the little bit about it, doing the bullet points, and then we can go back and discuss. But
yeah, she meets a Jody Hildebrand who has a self-help group called Connections with an X, and where she learns how to be a mental health coach, fitness coach. And after that, things kind of go into a more of a darker hole and realm for the children of the Franke family. And the crazy thing about the whole entire thing is like, just with the connections part about it, I'm like, this is like a Utah thing.
Yeah.
Because this reminds me of like Young Living. This reminds me of like LuLaRoe type fucking pyramid scheme type bullshit thing. And all of it's like based out of Utah. So I don't know what type of people are like whipping up these schemes. Like if they were like mafia raised fucking individuals, because they got some pyramid fucking crazy things that ruin people's lives and make them like millionaires. But before we get into the connections thing, like you said, Ruby Franke got really super popular being a YouTube vlogger based off of her family, 6 kids, her husband, Kevin, and she vlogged everything. everything. And I was listening to this one podcast. I don't have it available right now, but they were talking about to the depth where the kids would wake up and they would be like, there was like a camera in their face, like it was night and day. It was all vlogging all the time. That's all that this woman did. Obviously, she made millions, made millions of followers as well. So the crazy thing about this documentary is that or on this podcast, they were saying that people started noticing the way that she had started disciplining her kids was a little bit out of the ordinary. And then it just started escalating to the point where she had to address some of the backlash she was receiving. And some examples where I talk about, I didn't have enough time to really dive deep into this because I wanted to be devil's advocate on certain punishments that this woman would give to her kids. And I have one because I didn't want to put it on YouTube because YouTube always likes to put fucking commercials on it. But one of her sons, Russell, was like, I think 6 at this time, like 6 years old. And he had left his socks outside. And she was upset and told him to go grab his socks. And his punishment, I'll play the clip.
Put them in your pocket so you can take them down to the hamper and drop and give me 10. One. Put your hands straight out. They're in. They're not supposed to be out. Shape your hands forward. There you go.
Okay. So that's what initially started things off. That's when people started like, oh, that seems kind of like rough for a 6-year-old. But for this podcast, they said that it would go from like 10 push-ups to like 50 push-ups to 100 push-ups. And I'm like, all right, 10 push-ups for a 6-year-old. I mean, it's like corporal punishment, It's kind of like, I don't know a lot about the Mormon religion, but they're really strict on the way they present themselves to the public, and their kids have to be almost like very godlike, to everybody. So it's like almost a stern disciplinary house at all points, So I wasn't tripping on the push-ups. So I was like, okay, I think we're in a really sensitive culture right now. It's no big deal. But this was back in like 2000, probably like in 2019, probably 2020 when this happened. But the push-ups, I don't know the exact date. But the next one that I really kind of like irked me was when her older son, I think his name's Chris. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that. Probably.
I forgot.
But because she has fucking 6 of them. But he had played a trick on his younger brother, Russell. God said, hey, woke him up in the morning super early. Hey, we're going to Disneyland. Pack your shit up. We're going to go. So he gets all up, super excited, gets his fucking suitcase ready to go, already jacked. And then mom's like, what's going on? It's like 6 a.m. Like, we're going to Disneyland. And everybody's laughing at him. Everybody's laughing at the brother and shit like that. So the punishment, it's just crazy, was taking this kid's room away from him. I got a clip of that too for you guys.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months and then you give it back like a couple of weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October.
Chad came home from Anasazi and
Russell was like, I want to try dunking the basketball. And I lifted him up on
and he was...
Check this out, dude. This is where it gets really crazy, dude. Like, it just shows how, like, sick she really is.
And left me there for 3 minutes. And he was just hanging off.
Listen to her response.
It's funny because...
And then I walked out.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It wasn't.
So in the podcast, they said that any type of punishment goes a minimum of 6 months. 6 fucking months.
Yeah, like she took his phone away for like 6-7 months, and yeah.
Yeah, like hopefully it's still good.
Russell got the big bedroom and Chad got the...
So she took...
And Russell
check this out.
Also had a bathroom. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room. Abby took the phone away from Abby in November. And you may never get the phone back. Probably not.
No, I have no friends.
Isn't that fucking crazy, dude? And these kids are like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, it's so people started like seeing this shit and they're like, what is going on? Like, there's something seriously, like, even like this. I thought this was kind of funny because there's some dumb shit I would have said to my kids. It's when her kid was taping up a doll's like eyes. It's pretty funny. I thought it was funny.
Eve, this is my tape. What are you doing? What are you doing to this poor baby? Should I tape your eyes to make you sleep?
It's like, I mean, it sounds silly. I mean, and it sounds bad, but it's like, I would have said some shit like that to my kid. It's like, if I would have said some dumb shit like that, But what really kind of tripped me out was her whole stance of having her 4-year-old daughter make her own lunch to go to school. And if she never did that, she would go without lunches. And I think this is where the backlash really came about to the show and prompted her to kind of like take a step back from 8 Passengers. And we'll play this so everybody out there knows exactly what we're talking about in full detail.
I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
What the fuck?
Hopefully no one steps in and gives her a lunch or any type of food, because she has to understand what she did was wrong. She didn't pack herself a lunch. I'm the one who fucking didn't have protective sex that had to have you, and it's your responsibility to feed you if I provide the food that's in the fridge. I didn't even know how to make anything until I was like 7 or 8 years old in that fucking kitchen of mine.
Yeah. She's fucking 4 years old.
Yeah.
She's not going to learn from that. Are you fucking kidding me?
So it's like I'm like, God damn you, Richard. This was good, dude. So this is what started the backlash with her in addressing like the hate that she was getting. And she ends up going pretty much like cold from vlogging, for a while. Like, posts just started diminishing, and after a while, all of a sudden you see her pop up on the Connections website, or her start promoting the Connections, featuring Jody Hillebrand.
Yeah.
And really started focusing on that. And little backstory with Jody Hillebrand is she has been convicted, and she actually shouldn't. She's actually like on a, what is it, like a suspended license, whatever. She's not even supposed to be, teaching. Yeah. She's a psychologist, and she can't perform because she had given
lost her license or something like that.
She lost her license for talking to the LDS church about one of her patients, like information.
Yeah. So
she lost her license because of that. So, but the crazy thing in Utah, I think it's in Utah, or maybe it's just everywhere, is that if you go at it as like a mental health, expert or whatever, it's in its own class where there's no classification, where you can just say like, I'm a guru in this and I can give you fucking advice. Like this bitch, Casey Anthony. So she's one of these people that's giving out advice, and besides giving out people's information to the fucking church of all people, her big thing was empowering women in relationships and pretty much dumping on the men and putting them to the lowest point where the woman has complete control. Complete control. And after all these teachings, and after like, I think at this point, probably 20 years of marriage with her husband, Kevin, she tells her husband, Kevin, that we need to separate and you need to work on yourself. And this is going to help our marriage in the long run. But I found out that even like the deeper stipulations of like them living in the house, that if he stepped out of the house, he was not allowed to step back into the house until she said so.
Yeah.
So like if he wanted to go out and grab groceries for the family, he's like, well, you can leave the groceries there on the doorstep, but you can't come in.
Yeah.
And that's
This house.
Women, that's beating your man down. That's like a parent beating their child down to a point where it's like, you know, you can tell your kid anything. The sky's fucking purple and they're not going to question shit, you know? So that's like a form of like mental abuse. So this is the whole thing that Jodi Hildebrandt kind of like taught her clients how to do in any type of scenario in life. So during this separation, I don't know if I'm going on a tangent about this. If you want to step in at any time, dude, please.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100%
So,
Jodi's a crazy ass bitch.
Yeah. So during this separation, she ends up going and staying at Jodi Hildebrandt's house with the two younger kids, Eve and Russell.
Right.
So.
And this is in St. George, which is it's about 4 hours from Springville.
Yeah, I was confused about that because I saw the photos of Jodi's house, and you're talking about like compounds. Like this house almost put like Gene Hackman's house to fucking shame.
Yeah,
like it was really weird.
Yeah.
But what I hear, like there was a lot of empty rooms.
Yeah, she lived there by herself.
And another thing about like the 8 passengers and the Jodi Hildebrandts and stuff, they're about doing a lot of like corporal work and punishment with like work around and like heavy lifting chores for these young kids.
Yeah.
Almost like, you know, making them work outside in the heat with no shoes on, like really like degrading things to do to a child and shit.
Well, Jodi actually moved in with Ruby. She moved in there for a little while, well, with both of them for a little while before she kicked Kevin out. And there was a scene, and I guess this happened a lot. There was a scene in the documentary on Netflix where Jodi actually was possessed. Like she was saying she was possessed, and she was just like speaking in tongues and going like and sweating, and like they were trying to comfort her, and they filmed this shit, right? So she was saying she was possessed by demons. Speaking of demons.
Told you I got him.
Yeah. But she was like living in their house, and then Ruby tells Kevin, I'm gonna go sleep with Jodi to take care of her. And so she started sleeping in the bed with Jodi. And
what the fuck?
Yeah. So
dude,
that
really?
I mean, so was there like they even asked like Kevin, like, do you think there was something going on? He's like, it's possible. I'd probably not, but I mean, so were they, did they have an intimate relationship? Did they have something like that going on? Because, and I'll tell you why I bring up the possession later, because it has to do with the children too. But Jodi kept saying she was like possessed by a demon, and she would go in these episodes of just being possessed. So Ruby had to go and comfort her and be with her. And so she would be with her and sleep with her every night. She started sleeping in bed with Jodi. And then she kicked Kevin out, and it was just them living there. But they would go back and forth. So she would start going back and forth. And she went and stayed with Jodi and left the other kids by themselves. So the 2 older kids were gone. She had she took the 2 younger kids, and then so the other 2 middle children were just there by themselves for like weeks.
Didn't she call like the police and say, hey, you might get phone calls stating that we're leaving our kids by themselves, but they're okay?
Well, the neighbors called, and then they called Kevin. And so Kevin called the cops. And then Ruby said, oh, you know, it's fine. The kids will be fine. But she was in St. George, which is, like I said, 4 hours south of Springville.
Deuces.
Yeah. She just went, she just was like, peace. And the kids were like too young to be left alone, but old enough to take care of themselves. Like they knew, hey, I got to go in the fridge and eat some food. They're not going to die, but they're too young to fucking stay by themselves. You know, they were like under 12, like under 10 years old. I don't know the exact ages, but they were fine, but you're not supposed to fucking leave your cute 10-year-old kid at home by themselves for a couple weeks. But she left them at home, and they did like a wellness check, something like that, but nobody answered the door. It was just like shit like that was happening. And then that's when we get into, if you want to keep going with what you were talking about, get into like the meat of what actually was going down at Jodi's house in St. George.
Yeah, so like we said, she had the younger children, Russell and Eve, and I didn't have the phone call. So the infamous 911 phone call that everybody really knows about this whole story is a gentleman calling 911 saying, a young man is at my door, asking me to get help, call the police. Can I have something to drink or something to eat or whatever? Yeah. And the phone call's like, this kid is malnourished. You could tell he has multiple wounds on his body. His hands seem to be bound at one point. He has duct tape
around his wrists and ankles. Yeah.
And it's like, it's a really disturbing phone call because the guy's actually breaking down and crying. Fuck, I wish I'll look it up while we're talking about this too.
They have Ring video of the boy coming to the guy's house, and he comes and he rings the doorbell, and then he starts to walk away, and then the guy comes out. He's like, what's going on? He's like, I was wondering if you could, well, first the boy says, I was wondering if you could do two things for me. I need two favors. And the guy was like, what's going on? Right. And he says, well, I was wondering if you could take me to the police station. And he didn't say what the other thing was. I mean, probably give him some water, I'm fucking hungry, I'm thirsty, and so he tells the guy, and then the guy calls 911, and he's like visibly or audibly on the phone, and then you see the video of the Ring video of him on the phone, and he's like sitting there and his head's down and he's like crying, and he's like, this boy something's going on.
That's so sad, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what triggered Ruby and Jodi getting arrested, and there's more details of what they were doing to these fucking kids. Yeah. Man.
Well, so let me stop you there, because like they went to, so the cops came to the house.
I think I have it. You want me to see if I have it?
Yeah, play the 911.
Emergency.
Okay.
Okay, and the phone number you're calling from?
Still up here at my front door asking for help. And he said he had just came from a neighbor's house. There's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry and he's thirsty.
Is your door locked?
So I'm sitting outside with him on the front patio. He asked us to call the police.
Yeah, so the cops show up at the house, and Jodi's there, and she's like, I'm on the phone with my lawyer, you can't come in. They pull her out of the fucking house. They're like, we're going in.
Yep.
They search the house, and then they find the daughter in this room, and she's just sitting there in this room with nothing in it. And she's just sitting there. She won't talk to the officer. She's just sitting there with her head down. What did she go through? What happened to her? And the officer actually like sat with her, just waited, and then finally she was like, wanted to talk to him. But this little girl sitting in this room, locked into this room, and there's literally nothing to sit on. It's just the floor. Nothing in this room at all. And it's a tiny room, probably 5 by 5, if that. And it's like a closet basically. And it's ridiculous, dude. It's like, and then finally what ends up happening, the cops are there and freaking Ruby shows up. And they're like, you're under arrest, They tell her everything happened. She's just in there, okay. Stone face.
She called her husband prior and said, you need to come get the kids.
Yep.
Like immediately.
And he shows up there.
And he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on here? And
Yeah,
the cops
he-
are like, you have no idea what the
He had
fuck's
no
going on
clue.
here.
Yeah, he had no fucking clue what was going on.
That is
At
the
all.
craziest shit. Like, how do you, like, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, if I was a cop, like, how do I believe this story? Like, you don't know that they're fucking pushing your daughter into a cactus multiple times to,
Mhm.
show her punishment. People. That was one of the things that she did. She was pushing those kids. She even stated, because they ended up obviously getting tried in court and shit like that. In the paperwork, she states that she was like kicking her kids at one point, and you can see the bruises and shit from like her shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
These kids, like, there's a if you believe in striking fear in your kids' eyes and stuff, just so you can have some sort of stability in your house. I understand that, because that's how we were raised. When your dad fucking took that belt off and he fucking put it together and he snapped that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all you needed to do. That's all
yeah.
you needed to say, Dad. That's it.
That's it.
You knew
You didn't need words.
Yep. That was it. So I understand, but this is to a point where, like, there was like an empowerment, it's like where she must have beaten her husband down to the point where, like, you know what? Kids fucking seem good too. Maybe, this is a new challenge or some shit like that. I have no idea. I don't know what's in these sick people's minds that have kids and then treat them like shit.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of people in the world. This
Yeah.
isn't just the Ruby Frankies of the world. These are like the Gabriel Hernandezes, from Palmdale. Those are two pieces of shit fucking parents,
Yep.
It's like, why have kids? Why have kids? If you're going to treat your kids this fucking terribly,
Yeah.
why do it?
Yeah.
So,
Well, she was crazy. We already established that she was just nuts, and then everything else with the internet fame, and then getting the backlash from how she was disciplining. But then she was listening to Jody on the discipline. Jody was giving her advice on what to do, so she started going crazy. But then she was fucking filming it, and that made her crazy. When everything went down, that made her even more crazy. And then she, like I was saying with Jody, she was fucked up in the head, and she started saying she was possessed. So Jody convinced Ruby that her younger kids were possessed, and her younger kids had demons in them. So that's what she was.
Documentary,
you got to watch it, yeah. So that's why she was treating them that way, because she was trying to get the demons out. That's why she wasn't feeding them. She has this whole journal about how, like, she's trying to get rid of the demon. She believed that her two youngest kids had
It was like the pen
demons
to
in
paper
them.
thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what they call, like, the pen to paper, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
she believed that there was demons in her children. So that's why she was punishing them. She was trying to remove the demons from her children. Exorcise the demon. That's what she was trying to do.
That was great, dude. That was a great impression, dude. That was
No,
fucking awesome, man.
exorcise the demon. You know
That
what I'm talking
was
about.
Great, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that's what she was trying to do. And
wow, what a twisted
Yeah.
individual.
yeah, and it was all because Jody convinced her this was the right thing to do. Jody convinced her that her husband was not a good man, and that she would be better off, and that he needed to be punished. So she sent him off. And like you said, the cops didn't. They're like, "How do you not know where your kids are?" I haven't seen them in a year because she told me I couldn't. And he was just like, "Whatever you say, Ruby. Whatever you say, baby. I'm just gonna be in this apartment by myself until you tell me I can come home."
Oh my gosh. Sorry, dude. I found the video that you're talking about.
Mhm.
This is, dude, this kid is skin and bones.
Yeah, bro.
It's like,
daughter
he
is
looks
too.
like, he looks like Jack Skellington, people.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what he
bad.
looks like.
Yeah, and he has duct tape around his wrists and around his ankles, and there's like it's not even blood. It's like some red substance that's on there, and she was putting
so it was
honey
homemade
and
remedy.
cayenne.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
putting duct tape over it to
Yeah.
stop the wound.
Yeah, It's
Jesus Christ, dude. It was such
Yes.
a bad story, man. And it's
Yes.
like, we didn't even know in depth of what she was doing to the older kids, because when she got arrested and they had posted like photos of it, her oldest daughter, Sherry, who was like the only one that goes on social media, posted on her story, like, "Thank God, we've been trying to tell, the police forever about this.
Yeah.
And it's quite sad because we truly don't know what happened behind the camera. And like, because Ruby would say, I'm not going to tell you, like, there was punishment off the camera, but just know that she got the heavy end of it. And it's like, I knew people that would make their kids like hold books up for like fucking like for 10, 15 minutes and shit, or stand on I saw someone barefoot had to stand on a broom and like stay balanced on a broomstick and shit, and fuck their feet. I mean, I understand all that stuff is like to mentally fuck your kid up. And I've never been that type of person that like, that's what I want to do to my kids and make them understand that I'm in control. It's like, no, I can raise my voice and do that to my daughter. That's all I need to do. But to this extreme, there's a place in hell for these type of people. And like I said, if you're having kids and you're treating them like shit, if I believed in hell, there's a fucking great place for you guys. All, first class ticket waiting for you for sure.
Yeah.
And, it kind of like when I see this story, because I was going, I think I related it to my shit that I dealt with my son like 20 some years ago or let's say like 15 years ago. And I was talking to my wife about this, and I'm like, I was being accused of a lot of crazy shit when I was just trying to help my son out. And then there's people out here, and the crazy thing, I was comparing it because when I was going through all that crazy shit with my son, the same time as the whole Gabriel Hernandez thing was going on. Mm-hmm. And I was getting like cops and CPS called on me for no fucking reason at all. And yet nobody checked on that kid's house at all, where the real violence and the real pain was happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just don't know. In any of these houses, just look around you, people. We don't know what's happening in any one of these people's houses. It could be good. It could be bad. You just never know. You hope it's good. But, you paint a fake image of yourself with millions of people that adore everything that comes out of your mouth. And then just to come to find out that you've been conning everybody and everything you stood for was a complete lie.
Yeah.
And that sucks, man. And your kids had to pay for it. Your husband, had to pay for it. And I don't give a fuck, if you're like, oh, what does the husband have to worry about? It's investment, people. If I spend 20 years with a crazy and found out my fucking wife was abusing my children, I would think I was a piece of shit loser for fucking enabling that shit to happen.
Yeah.
So, overall, they got, the even crazier thing on top of it, besides the abuse, is that once they got tried in court, is that they fucking turned on one another.
Yes.
It's like, you scumbag bitches.
Yeah.
It's like, no. But out of the two, Ruby was the more sympathetic on her, what is it? I forget what her emotional speech, whatever, before she got sentenced. Her speech was a little bit more sympathetic and showed empathy towards the situation. And Jody was just like, I hope they can, prosper from this situation. It's like, I hope they can grow from this beating.
Yeah. Well, that is crazy, dude. I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't know who hurt you, Jody. Who hurt you? Because she said that bitch is fucking, she is nuts, dude. Like something wrong.
Some PTSD happened back in the day.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand the sentencing because they both got the same shit. Four felony counts of child abuse, which can range from 1 to 15 years. But they're saying that since their backgrounds are clean and stuff, and since it's consecutively, that they might do like 36 months per felony or some shit like that. Like, it's a really weird, I was trying to like listen to it over and over again, and I just couldn't understand how they broke it down. But it's like, you guys are going to be serving 4, consecutive 1 to 15 year sentencings per. And it's like, it wasn't, they didn't give a number, but it's just either 1 to 15 per. But they're saying because they had such a clean background that they may get 36 months per. So that's what, 3 years per? That's 12 years?
Yeah.
Some shit like that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy that you can beat the fuck out of your children, vlog about it, make millions on top of it, and don't get the death penalty.
Yeah. They need to change the law on that. If you're going to do any kind of abuse to a child, it should just be automatic. Like it's crazy because, you know, like you said, I was the kind of parent that like was really hard on my kids. Like I wanted to teach them to be adults, not teach them to be children, you know? And so I was really like, but I didn't beat my kids. I didn't even do any of the things you were saying. Like, you know, I would basically give them a little spanking, but I would be harsh and I would, you know, take some things away, but if I took away their phone, it wouldn't be for fucking 6 months. It might be for a couple days. You know what I mean? Or if I took something away, but I wouldn't take their fucking room, their whole room. Oh, you got to sleep on a fucking beanbag. Like that kind of punishment, or, you know, I'm not talking about like the crazy shit that when she thought they were possessed, but I'm talking about just those little punishments that she was getting the backlash for. Like, that's just fucking nuts, dude. Like dropping, give me like, 10. Are you fucking kidding me?
Like, I know somebody that took their kid's phone away from them for like 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to have no contact with anybody. And it's like,
depends on the crime, I guess. Depends on what they did, but.
Yeah, but if this is like a continuous thing, you know, it's I just do this for months on end. It's like, holy shit, dude, like you're fucking beating this person down, dude. Yeah. It's like there's like no socialization at all. And it's just like that's a mental thing. It's a whole mental thing behind that. And you know, I like to have mental war games with people like face to face, you know, but I don't like I don't like to beat like kids down who are just have no idea what life, you know, is about. Yeah. You know, and these kids are going to have such a fucking crazy you know, just a crazy life just because of what they dealt with. They're going to be constantly on guard. They're going to have massive trust issues. If your mom can do this to you, what makes you think that a fucking stranger on the street isn't going to just fucking cut your throat?
Oh yeah.
It's like, that's how extreme you should really think about it. If your mom's doing that to you.
Well, it's true, because like any kind of like abuse like that, it fucks you up as an adult, you know. And they're probably, you know, they're I guess they're the older ones, from what the documentary said, they're actually not doing too bad, but you know that there's something in there, some kind of PTSD in there that like you said, they might meet somebody, like get with a significant other, and then they do something and they're like, oh, they're never going to trust that person again because your mom did this stuff to you. Right. You know, it's like, and then the younger ones that went through all that abuse, like they're going to be fucked up for a long time. And that's the thing. It's not just the abuse that was done. It's like for the rest of their life, you fuck them up for the rest of their lives. And that's really hard to recover from.
Now, in the documentary, did they say at the end that the kids like visit their mom in prison at all?
I don't remember them saying that.
Okay, because the funny thing is when I got home yesterday, I wanted to go straight into watching this, but then my wife was watching something called Evil Lives Here. I think it's on Peacock and I think it's on HBO. And I walked in on this really shitty acting fucking episode, but it was interesting because it was about this girl that was talking about her dad that had a short fuse, and he would always threaten his wife with like a gun. Like he was like, I'm fucking, you better not, you don't make me do this. Like say one word, like that type of like mental abuse. Yeah. Would like physically abuse like the younger son, would just like strike fear in his family and shit. And at the very end of this all traumatic stuff where they were like fleeing to get away from the father and stuff, he ends up killing his mom, you know, and after all this, he gets convicted to death, you know, gets sentenced to death penalty. And at the very end, she's like, I went and visited my dad, and I just remember him being, you know, so thankful to see me, and we took pictures and had video. And I'm like, you're just as fucking crazy as your goddamn dad is.
Yeah.
Because if you shot my mom, first off, if I give a shit about my parents and I saw them die in front of me, I would never want to see that person. I would want that person dead immediately. You know, anybody that I cared about. And the fact that this woman's like, she goes, I went and visited my dad. This was beautiful. This is that. And then the next clip, she's like, it's just, I haven't gotten past this. I'm like, then why go visit him?
Yeah.
Who gives a flying fuck if he's going to die that day? You know, he took your mom's life because he couldn't fucking calm down or, you know, figure out his rage issues. So I was curious to see if the kids are ever, I mean, heaven help these kids that they would understand like, hey, maybe I just need to never see, this person so I can get all this anxiety brought up again.
Yeah.
You know, I tell my daughter all the time, sometimes you have to say, what is the benefit of having this person or this situation in my life?
Yeah.
You know, you have to outweigh the pros and cons. People, even in relationships, I've had to do it in my relationship with my wife. You know, it's like, let's put the pros and cons together, you know? And if it comes down to cons, then we have an issue. And if we want to work on it, great. But if there's more pros, we need to work on the cons still. So you have to outweigh the situations and stuff. And the fact that these crazy individuals would still go visit their parents, I hope it never happens. I hope I hope the kids never visit Ruby again. This was a really traumatic story because of shit that I was accused in the past that was false. Like, I was accused by people that I thought, you know, were my family and that cared about me. They were calling CPS saying that I was starving my kids. And I got a phone call from my ex-wife at the time. They're like, the cops are here. You need to come down. So I rushed home from work. It was like an hour drive. I rushed home and they were interviewing my wife and my son who had autism in his room. And they're like, we need to talk to your son. I'm like, you're not talking to him privately because it's not happening.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we need to look in your fridge because I hear you're starving your kids and you have no clothes from it. And my whole house is like, everything's all decked out. So I don't know, how do we improve the anonymous tips when it comes down to helping these kids, you know, that are actually really in need, and to help these parents that really are helping their kids out not get abused by the system.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to make it about me, about what I've dealt with, because I've grown from it and I've grown from it. But this shit, like, I didn't abuse my kids. My kids weren't mentally abused or anything like this. It was all just people trying to fuck me over at some point. But these kids were mentally abused. They were taught that everything they were doing was pretty much wrong and everything that their mom said was right. And that really puts a hinder on the way that you think about how anybody approaches you.
Mm.
So take all, I don't know, dude. Like, it was a rough thing to watch. And now I'm like literally watching the video as we're talking. It's like, I'm so disgusted by people that treat their kids like that. I can't say it enough. And I'm very thankful for all the friends that I have in my life that are good parents, because I don't have shitty people. I don't have shitty friends that treat their kids like shit. Like, I just don't associate with bad people like that. So I'm very thankful for the good people I have in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm lucky to have that same thing where, like, everyone I know that has kids is like damn good parent and have damn good kids, you know, like, and I wouldn't, if I saw something like that where I felt like that was happening, I wouldn't associate with that person. You know, I've had to cut a lot of people out of my life because of shit like that, but especially if you're doing something to your kid, you know, I mean, my kids are everything to me, and I just can't I can't even like fathom that, right? Like, doing that to your kid. And that's why I think she was just so fucked up from what Jody was telling her, that she actually believed the stuff that Jody was telling her. I think Jody's the whole like catalyst of the whole thing, because everything started when she started hanging out with Jody. Everything started. Right. So she was weird and crazy before. She was doing, you know, disciplining, but once she started getting advice from Jody, it was like it was over. And
yeah, and people, you might out there think like, well, maybe she was just a weak individual and Jody just, you know, got to a weak-minded individual. It's the message behind it. And when I talked about like the Young Living and the LuLaRoe behind it, I knew people. I had an ex-wife that still is in Young Living thinking that she's going to make millions off of a pyramid scheme. That's never going to fucking work. But the message behind it and the constant social media and getting everybody together, all the friends that would just link up and talk about this subject and shit. And they had this top of the tier individual that was just like, ah. This bitch was scamming hundreds of thousands of people thinking that they were going to be on her level at some point. It was never going to happen. But her message was like, you could be like me. You just got to keep working. You may not have done it this month, but guarantee you, if you just work maybe 5%, 5% isn't that much. If you work 5% harder, you may just get that much closer to my, to my level. And people would eat it up. So whatever Jody said to Ruby must have been so, like, it must have been just a aha moment where the mental abuse, the child abuse, the exing out of the husband all seemed to click. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a strong, people, Hitler was like that too.
Yeah. Hitler for the greater good. That's what he said all this was for.
Words are powerful. Words are powerful, but you know what? If you're a strong enough person to be like, hey, words can't hurt me, like we grew up like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can decipher that a person's like, we want to take an entire race out and not just deport them, but actually wipe them off the face of the planet. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. So words can be very they're very powerful, you know, and, I tell my daughter, just make sure that if you're in a situation where you have to use your words intelligently, please use your words intelligently, because if you come off, the first thing you say is like, yeah, well, you're a fucking idiot. It's like, perfect, dude. Yeah. This conversation is going that you've already lost, Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I don't even want to get into the 8 Passengers channel, because it got even deeper with some of the stupider shit that she posted up, that like even in the podcast, she even faked a car crash where someone got into a car crash behind her, and she got out of the car. It's like she swerved out of the way to get out of it, to avoid the accident, freaked the kids out. The guy behind her got into the crash. She gets a camera and runs to him like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the?
This is going to get me 1 million views." You know?
Yeah. But that's that's like we said at the beginning. That's balls. Like you have to have a lot of balls and confidence to be like, you know what? Hey, you got into a car crash. How are you doing right now, bud? It's like, get the fuck away from me, bitch. I just got into a car crash. Yeah. And you weren't involved in it, so please get away from me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Shall we do music reviews or should we?
We can really quick. You only did one, and then I'll just pick one of the ones that you sent me. But I'd like to know. I just really am curious to know what you thought of that Aurora Wave.
So I listened to the Aurora Waves, and I listened a little bit at the Adam Calhoun, and I was a big Adam Calhoun fan from like Grunt Style and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm familiar with his character. Yeah. I could have. It's classified country rap, and I think he could have done a country album and been just fine.
He did a country album, and it was fucking trash. Because this album, the album that I sent you was, so he's got 10 albums. That's his 10th album, and he said this is my last rap album. And I have heard all the rap albums. They're all great. They all got bangers on them. I think that he's really good, and they're just like lyrical wise, right? I think he puts out some. He talks about shit that I can relate with, and he doesn't. Everything's not about like yeehaw and all this stuff, right? He talks about like struggles with like addiction and struggles with just like family and just stuff like that. And so I like it, and regardless of his politics and all that stuff, I just think it's really good. And I like a lot of the country rappers. Like when I first saw Jelly Roll, he was a rapper to me, and he was hanging out with Adam Calhoun, right? So I didn't really think he was even a country artist. So I was really into it. And this was his last. He's like, I'm not doing any more rap albums. I'll do like features, and I'll do like songs here and there, but I'm not going to do a full album ever again. And then he the next album he put out was a country album where he was trying to sing, and it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. So no, he shouldn't do a country album again. But I
didn't know he had 10 fucking albums. First off,
10 albums. That's his 10th album. But and he has stuff with what's his name? I can't remember his name right now.
He did a song with Bubba Sparks. That's on the album as well.
Yeah, he did a song with Bubba Sparks. And he's done 2 albums with Tom McDonald. And those are actually pretty good. The first one's really good. The second one has like a couple good songs. The first one's actually really good. I mean, there's a couple songs that, what's the name of that song? I don't know if you want to play it, but it's one of those songs that like
Yeah, if you
It's
have a song
really
name, the title, dude, I'll get it.
I'm looking for it.
Brr.
Well, he has yeah. So he
What
has
was
the
the song?
song with Tom McDonald. It's called White Boys with a Z in the end.
You want to give us fact about Tom McDonald real quick while I look this up?
Yeah, Tom McDonald is just he's another rapper, and I think he does a lot of clickbait with his songs. He just wants to like put out stuff that is like very controversial, stuff like that. But I think he's very talented too. But he's just doing it for views, I think. But I know he believes all the same shit too. But he's heavily tattooed, and he's a Canadian. He's got dual citizenship, but he's a Canadian, but he's American.
I like how you said he has dual citizenship.
Well, he's Canadian. Everybody says, "Oh, he's Canadian. He's fucking Canadian. What is he talking about America for?" Well, he's lived here for like 15 years, and he is a dual citizen. So their politics
It's a white boy summer. Whole iPhone full of white boy gunners. We all come up from the bottom like the pipes in the gutter. Got the shotgun going bump, 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 bump. Call me white trash. White boy, I kinda like that. If you got a problem, you can come get my white. I don't really care what I'm allowed to do. Got a homie that'll kill you for a mountain dew. Shoot, you don't wanna get a death threat from a redneck. Put a lead dent in your head. Let's see it. What? Yeehaw, cops from we saw they as we leave. White boys don't talk. You ain't gonna see them coming hunting camo. Go Second Amendment and they got tons of ammo. Got a cut full of nigga lungs full of tobacco. Kind of crackers up, cracking for some best of tobacco. And a homie with a shotgun while he shotgun 24 beers.
Okay, so that's not Adam Calhoun. I just
no,
want to let
that's
everybody
Tom
know
McDonald.
So there we go.
Stand here with the sword up shotgun. Shoot it, you got that. So put him in a wheelchair, let's turn the plaster. You know how it goes. Put the holes in the top. They're smoking on tobacco, blowing like a black and mild top. Get the black guy, drag me like a mile, take a whole bunch of jack, probably cash if I drive. I'll be sitting shitty with a 9 passing your side. Always out at night, cause I like noise. Playing 50 Cent and I don't even like toys. Got a 45 in my lap now, that's a nice choice. Right around town, cause
See,
White
and
boys.
I think that wasn't bad, but if you're playing on a song with Tom McDonald, there's like a flow you have to like
you gotta bring
like
it.
present.
Yeah.
You have to present
Cadence.
like the kind of this cadence, the same flow that he presents. And the one thing about Tom McDonald, I don't listen to his music, but when it's some of his stuff, like when he comes out with a controversial song and shit, I'll listen to it, and it's like the dude has flow.
He does.
He flows with music,
He's
and that's
very
the
talented,
one
yeah.
thing that's, like I've said before, I'm not a lyrical person. I'm a music person. So his music always hits like right off the bat, and then his lyrics aren't mumble rap. You can listen and hear everything that he's saying and understand it, and it flows really, really good. So this is a good song, but the song
play Gumbo. Play Gumbo. Like,
okay.
Adam Calhoun has the first verse on Gumbo. Dude, it's so good. It's like every time I hear it, I'm like, hell yeah, dude, it's beautiful. It just makes me fucking hyped up.
I'm saying, I'll tell you, but you
Look at me.
wanna be you want song you want. You say
You guys have headphones on. This thing is bumping right now.
Okay, here we go.
you want song you want. This the chicken. Die for the hell. I'm like some chicken, they surprised that I'm doing well. If they was a fire, would have pissed them, let them melt. They ain't gonna survive. I'm too loud. They gonna need some help. Listen.
You sound like Twisted from like ICP and shit.
Kinda, yeah, he's got that cadence, like ICP cadence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't enjoy the album. Sorry, but
That's okay.
ultimately, it wasn't, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Like I said, I have to enjoy the music first. And, I couldn't jive with it too much. And then I tried to listen to the Aura Wave, and the music was really fucking good. I like the reggae and rock mix and like the different like heavier verses and shit. But as soon as I hear a white boy go, "Oh Lord, bring us the ganja," when as soon as I hear that type of accent on a white boy, I lose it like instantly. When I hear Bob Marley come out, and I'm a big like Fortunate Youth fan, and I used to work at the dispensary where the owner, that was his brother. The owner was like the lead singer's brother.
Oh,
So
nice.
I met them at a show. They were super great guy. I think his name's Dan.
Yeah.
Dan something. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan.
Super great. Yeah. I met, I went to a show with him and we got him all high and stuff. Super great guys. But as soon as that fucking guy puts a mic to his mouth, it's like, oh Lord. Oh, bring God the
Come on,
vibe.
Dan's great, bro. Come on, I love
I
Fortunate
can't-
Youth, bro.
I can't, dude. It's like, and they're really good guys and they're really good music, and some songs I vibe with, but it's so hard to get past that. And I'm just like,
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it though. I know. Oh, you would hate Soja, but that Soja's a white dude, but he's like I'm not talking Soja Boy. I'm talking like I'm not Supermaning the shit. I'm like,
SOJA.
yeah, Soja. I mean, he's the singer for Soja is like, yeah, you would hate him, but yeah,
I gotta give them some love, so since if I gave Alan Calhoun love, I gotta show these guys what I'm talking about. So I'm not being completely biased.
yeah, Aurora Wave.
Trap the double sonic.
No, not you, Sonic. You're not even out here in California where I'm at. There's only like one fucking Sonics I've ever experienced in like the 20 years I've like been all around, the AV and shit.
Yeah.
But good chili dogs. But this is a Aurora Wave. I could be a DJ.
I got two fingers. Without the ones that mean I don't give a fuck. Cause if I do it, then I do it for the love. But lately I've been feeling that isn't enough. I can't stand if there's no respect. I gotta lead the
And there's another thing about when you sing like this, how your mouth fucking moves. Like every singer is like, almost like that, like say ye. That's how they sing.
Yeah.
Like, just like you're saying ye the entire time.
Yeah.
So, but
you got a choice to make. You're gonna stay or go. I'm gonna take the chance on the gap below. There's no love, but I'm still take to piece
So good.
you know what Aura Wave is? It's like that guy you see on your algorithm. It's like, what if Deftones played Bob Marley? And then the guy, that's exactly what it is.
So, well, I'll tell you the story like really briefly. He was in a band called Ayatera. Nate, the singer, Nathan Aurora, but Ayatera, and one of my favorite reggae bands. And Ayatera had a lot of, I want to say like metal solos, but they didn't have like heavy distortion in it. But like a lot of their solos, they have like two guitars playing like different octaves, right? And that kind of stuff that you hear in metal a lot. So they did that a lot. But what Nate wanted to do was he took a leap of faith and said, I want to do this different kind of music, but I can't do it in Ayatera because, it's already an established band. I don't want to like have a side project. So I don't know the whole story, but he basically quit Ayatera, which pissed me off because I was like, I never got to see him live. And they were one of my favorite bands. And then he decided to start a new band. And he took some songs that he had written because he was with the main songwriter in Ayatera. And he took some songs that he had written for Ayatera. And then he also brought some other songs and said, okay, I'm starting this new band called Aurora Wave. And that's how it started. And, he's already got a name, so he's able to like book shows and they've been getting bigger and bigger. And I hadn't heard any songs. And I was like, okay, I love Nate. Hopefully this stuff comes out. Cause Nate was also in between. He was doing, like reggae covers of songs. And then he got with a bunch of his buddies and they did a full album of punk rock goes reggae. So it's pop punk goes reggae. And so if you haven't checked that out, that's great. And that's basically Nate put all that shit together with a bunch of reggae bands. And they did a bunch of like really cool like classic songs, like pop punk songs and like emo songs, and did like reggae cover, or they did them as reggae. So it's actually really good. And so he did that first, and then he came out with Aurora Wave, and I just love anything Nate does. Like, he's one of my favorite artists, like, period. Like, anything he puts together, his message is always positivity, and you can do it, and you can make it through, and he's been through a lot in his life, and he's come through it. He just had a kid, and got married, and, like, the dude's just an amazing dude, and I just, anything he puts out, I'm like, I'm right there. He's one of those artists that I'll follow him wherever he goes. He's really good. So that's why I wanted you to check it out, because it's got a little mix of like, it's got that mix of like metal in it. It has like Atreyu sings on a song, and like there's some, you know, there's some mix of it. And I wanted to see, because there's not much metal put into the songs. There's some metal breakdowns and stuff like that.
Right.
He's a reggae guy, but before he was even in Ayaterra, he was in like a death metal band. So like he loves metal and he loves reggae. So he wanted to try to fuse the two in a way that worked. And I think it works. There's sometimes where I'm like, this guy screaming doesn't, I don't know who he is, but like this guy screaming doesn't really sound right in the song. So there's some parts I don't like, and I'll admit that, but like anything Nate does, I'll follow. He's just an amazing artist.
Well, it's interesting, dude. Like I said, it's just hard for me to get past the voice, dude. That's just my biggest thing.
Well, that's probably why reggae's not your thing.
I'm getting old, dude. My taste, I'm becoming that old person, dude.
Yeah.
But I'm not too old to the point where I'm gonna go see this band called I Declare War in this small venue up here in Atascadero.
Yeah.
But I bring it up because the band that's opening up for him is called Stronger Than Machines. I've interviewed them before, and their lead singer, like you talked about last time, is lead singer for Snot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, now I get to see this guy in a small venue. I get to see the like deathcore metal group, dude, in like this bar. I'm like, oh fuck, chairs will be broken.
Bones will be broken,
dude. No shit. And I'm bringing my wife to it. I'm like, are you ready for this? She's like, I can only listen to this live. I can't listen to this. Like, she's like, the fact that you can listen to this in the fucking car and just be fine with this is completely insane. Like, I have to enjoy this live.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, I like your input. It's exactly what I thought you were going to say. But,
I think we know each other a little too well.
Yeah, I think so. So you sent me, so Big X the Plug. All I can say is it's not bad. I don't know why you sent it. You have to explain that. But the only thing I didn't like, I mean, he's a good lyricist. It's okay. But we had just talked about cadence. His cadence is fucking redundant. It's just over and over the same cadence in every song. And that's why, like, it was good, but it just kind of bored me. Like, you gotta mix up your cadence in your songs. And not just, you can have one song that has a certain flow, and then the next song can have a different flow, right? But every song was the same flow, the same cadence in his words. And I was like, that's good. I like what he's talking about. And the beats are good. There's a couple songs that are like 5 seconds long. And I'm like, that song's over already? What the fuck?
Yeah,
what was
like
it about?
Most of his songs were like 2 minutes long. I'm like, this is kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
I'll give a little example of the song that he got famous with.
Congestion, allergy with Zyrtec.
Fucking Zyrtec.
Fucking love Zyrtec. Helps me sleep and helps my eyes not water. Fucking love Zyrtec.
One big thing, he kind of has like a BIG type of voice.
Hey.
Yeah, and I do like that.
Say I'm the biggest, the largest. They're stepping up since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless. Cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest. The largest came out my riches for hard times. These niggas just mad cause they bitching my archives. Jordan came back on the 4-5. If you planning, you lay right there by your own kind.
Just gonna say, I can see what you're saying, dude. Because most of the other songs that he has in there is the same type of like.
Yeah, it's the same cadence.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it, dude. Mm-hmm. Best way to describe it.
But it was really good. Like I would listen to it again. It's just that's the only thing I didn't like about it. That's it. I was like, wait, this sounds like that last song. But the beats are actually really cool too. It has some like jazzy things in there with them, and like one sounded like an old like lounge song. Like I like when I was listening to it, I pictured myself just sitting there smoking a cigar in a lounge, and then he's rapping over it. I'm like, dude, this is actually pretty good. I didn't mind it at all. It was actually, and I love rap, and I thought it was actually not bad. That's the only thing I didn't like.
This was the first album I listened to in a while where I actually really enjoyed it. And I'm not a rap guy at all. I'm like, I can listen to this. I'm like, I don't dislike this. And then it just kept playing. Like at least once a week I'll play the album. Because right now I'm just stuck on like really heavy, fast punk rock right now. like Cigar, and I tell Eduardo all the time, like, yeah, we're gonna write an album like this. He's like, no, we're not. He's like, this is too fucking fast. He's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been listening to. So the fact that I can like kind of get out of that fast percussion and go to like this mellow type of rap was cool, dude. So I was like, you know what? Richard likes rap. Let's see what he feels about it.
Yeah, I love his voice. It does sound a lot like Biggie. He's not anywhere close to Biggie, but he does have that voice, that tone in his voice. I like that. So yeah, it was actually really good. I liked it. It's just I couldn't get past the cadence. I couldn't get past like, hey man, come on, mix it up a little bit. Like it's just it's too redundant. It was just like kind of got boring after a while. I was like, okay, this one sounds just like that song. So, but yeah, all in all, I thought it was really good.
I didn't think that he would be accepted having that Biggie type voice, because what was the first artist that they tried to promote after Biggie died? This must have been like 10 years after he died. It was like Gorilla Black. You remember Gorilla Black?
Yeah.
He sounded exactly, I think that was the name. Fuck, dude, I don't remember.
It's something like that. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
He was like, sounded exactly like Biggie, and he did not fucking last at all. Like people chewed him out like, no, this isn't gonna work. Oh yeah, because he did a song with Beanie Man.
Gorilla Black, where you from? Have them like Christians over their heads smoking hating. Tall me, play no I philosophize. By the brick and divided up amongst my guys. Socks to my claw.
That sounds exactly like Biggie.
Dude, that sounds way too much like Biggie.
The game like a wild rhino. I know no one else could do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think that was Biggie if I was listening to it. Yeah, that sounds just like Biggie.
It's like, is this AI?
Yeah, exactly. Red and black lumberjack with the hat to match.
Yeah. Fuck, Biggie was so good.
Dude, so good.
Rap would be so different right now if Biggie and Tupac were still alive. I'll say that to the day I fucking die.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Until the day I die.
Yeah.
And even Kendrick couldn't even fuck. Like, I don't care if he, not like us, all this shit. I don't care. It's nothing compared to the beef that Biggie Hit 'Em Up would be is the best fucking diss song of all time, dude. I don't give a shit who you are. So when you listen to Not Like Us, listen to Hit 'Em Up. That's what a diss was about.
Oh, that was a diss.
What it was about.
Or No Vaseline.
Or No Vaseline. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that song, but like in your episode, but like, yeah, dude, that song, like you see it in that movie too, the NWA movie. They're sitting there listening to the song, going like, "Damn, he fucked us up.
They fucked us up."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like come on, man, he's shitting all over us. Like we got to do
one
something.
Of those songs. It's one of those songs, even with Hit 'Em Up, that you can listen to. It's like, oh my god, this fucking happened. Like this is history. Like yeah. He fucking wrote that about Biggie, and fucking Ice Cube wrote that about every NWA person.
All of NWA. Yeah, Ice Cube came out on top on that shit though. I mean, really, he got done dirty, so he was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." You know,
that's the only way you can in the rap industry. You know? Yeah. So, and like you said, Ice Cube. He came out on top. Dude,
he did.
It's still one of the best songs ever written.
Oh yeah, dude, No Vaseline.
lyrically, and it's back in the day where lyrics were key in rap, and it wasn't about the hook or anything. Yeah. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna diss somebody, it was how long this bar was gonna be.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So good shit.
Yeah, good shit. Okay, you sent me one more. Do you want me to talk about it?
All right, go on.
It'll be short.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you sent me, it's S.G. Lewis. It's Dawn EP.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it at all. I cannot. It's to me, like, it's not even that. It's just the music. That kind of music I'm not really into, but it more sounded to me like there was nothing interesting about it. It almost sounded like it was made with Apple Loops. And I know this guy's like signed and has like, you know, like a big following and like actually is really, really huge. But like, to me, just the whole thing, I listened to the whole thing in my car and I was like, this, like, I can make this in 5 minutes with, you know, on Logic. It just seemed like he just threw a bunch of Apple Loops together and I was waiting. I was like, wait, something's going to happen right here. Yep, there it is. It was just predictable and just like, you know, I just didn't like it. And like I said, there's people that like it. You obviously like it. And there's people that like it. It's not even that it's not my kind of music. It's more like, cause like I can listen to that Billie Eilish album, which is the same music. And there's a few songs that I can't get out of my head and they just stick there. And it's not because I said, oh, she should have won. It was just like I actually listened to it when I was trying to review it and say, look, okay, well, why did this not win? Like was it trash? And now I got like 2 or 3 songs on that album that I can't get out of my head. This one I had nothing that really stuck with me and nothing that was there. It was just like I didn't really like it at all. I would probably never listen to it again. And not just because it's not the music that I don't like, because I don't listen to that kind of stuff really, but it just wasn't there for me.
I'll give you guys a prime example of what he's talking about, and I think it's one of those things that I totally understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I would really, maybe if we ever meet up where something like this is going on at a show, that I would take you, because I think it's one of those, like, it's more of an intimate show type music than to listen to it. You have to be really into the music to fucking listen to it outside of a concert.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it really, I think this music really shows a lot in an intimate show, but I'll show you guys real quick. Hopefully no commercial. Yeah, that definitely was a fucking commercial. Which, by the way, people, I know we all bitch about our paying $130 for cable, but with YouTube and everything else I'm paying for right now, I'm pretty fucking close to that, dude. So, like, YouTube's like $25 a month. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, fuck you, dude. You're wrong on this.
We'll agree to disagree on that
one. I love you, but I guess we can end with that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Fuck you. You're wrong.
Yeah, I love you,
and
bud.
see you later.
See you guys. Peace.
Yeah.